What is going on, ladies and gentlemen of the jury? My name is Jacemachine. I am fueled by coffee and driven by insanity. Today, we're playing StarMade, and we have a goal that we need to be working on. Over here, beyond this tower, we're going to go check out our project of the day. Hopping into the build block, and we've added some new things to this station. First things first, though, we're going to go directly through the tunnel, and we're going to go into my storage area. Yay, storage. You can see all the storage spaces are ready for use. Everything is connected to this particular storage box. And then we've thrown in some decorative storage boxes around the side here. But basically, this is basically meant to be walked around. I'm coming up with some ideas, right, about how I want to start building things. And one of them is depth, right? You want to have depth in your designs, even if you're not necessarily interacting with them. Like this walkway goes completely around. There's no stairs in this room that lead down to the lower floor. You can get down there from planning on it from outside, and over here there's some stairs that lead downwards, but largely this room is just decorative. You know, you have storage. A lot of people handle it in different ways. I like looking at stuff, so this is where it comes from, and I want to have depth, you know. And the other thing that I want to incorporate into every room, and it's something that LensCap does a really great job at with a lot of his builds, is movement. So I would have a bunch of little inventory robots scurrying around on the floor here. And I've already begun to set up rail systems for where these guys need to be. I just haven't put too much effort into it, basically. But I've hidden the rails, I've hidden the cores, and what we're going to do is we can pop the top here, build something above it, and then replace those pieces. You know, with actual things. Undo. And once we've got that, we can build our robots on top. We don't have to use the core or the docker in the design, and we're free to be creative. Alright, so speaking about being creative, here we are, picking our standards, right? Standard, and standard. Something else I use a lot of course, are grates. Why is that? Because they're great. That's right. Thank you for filling in that blank that I left for you. We're gonna need some fans, I suspect, and some grills. Yo, I need some grills. Anything else that I see that we're going to need immediately? We're gonna need lava. I can promise you that. Okay, so we are going to go into the next room here, moving through our storage facility. We're going to have a glass window in this area so that you'll be able to look down into what is going to be my factory floor. Basically, this is my steel mill. We're going to have stairs, rampways really to get into here if you really need to, right? Places should be accessible. And what we have here is... okay, just making sure. We have huge things of molten steel being overturned, dumped out, whatever, into our stream. And since we can't get anything to animate, this is just going to have to do. I want it to have the sensation that it's moving, you know? But we're going to have different things moving around in here. But basically today's project is we're going to finish out the floor here. We're probably going to add a large thing that smelts the iron in the middle there. It has a name. I can't think of it off the top of my head, and I'm not going to slow this down just to recollect it. So what we're going to do is, I guess we're going to get this on deck. I've found a bunch of designs that I've been watching, and basically I think these designs are really cool little elements that I want to incorporate into my builds. We gotta get out of remove mode here. And let's see, this is, no, it's not gonna be one of those, but we can keep this out to about, I don't know, let's do something simple like 3 for now. 3 wide, and then we're gonna have a length of maybe about 30. Okay, let's see how that works out. 30, we can get away with like 60, my friend. Let's just try 50. No, yeah, we really could get away with 60. Okay, so let's bring the floor across this way. And we're going to want to bring the floor across this other way here. Let's see, how's that looking underneath? Not too bad. Not too bad. Let's bring this out a little bit here so we can just fill it in. There we go. A little 3x3. Just to fill this area in easily. And we also need to pull this out. Oops. Double oops. Double oops. Oops and double. So, I hope you guys are doing good. I noticed a lot of you have been watching my Interstellar Rift Let's Play, and that's pretty cool. I like the game. It's neat. It has a lot of elements that I kind of want in a game. I like that sort of realistic travel speed. In the Star Squadron universe, we have set our sectors are huge, right? They're based on the old Starside sectors, and we really thought that was a neat thing because, one, it makes fights a little bit smoother. You don't keep shifting out of sectors while you're fighting, and the other thing that it does is it just makes space feel more like space, which is big and empty. However, if you are playing in a world that is like that, one thing that you absolutely need is you need to have jump drives, basically. Otherwise, you'll get stuck. All right, should we start thinking about walls? You gotta tear down the walls, Jacemachine. No, not yet. Let's sort of work something out. There's a structure that I want to have in place here that goes across, and this is just going to be kind of like a rough design, so I'm not exactly sure of its eventual shape as far as its actual shape. Like, I know what it looks like in my head, but not with the details. So we have something like that. I want to have a area of 2 skipping here, and then bring the first area up to this height. Up to this height. And let's see, that's going to be about this. I guess about that height there. If I didn't need to mirror image it on both sides, I'd totally be cutting it right here in the middle. But we're just going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. Okay, so the next portion I think needs to come out to about here. So like that. No, that's a 2 space. We need that right about there. And so what we're doing is we're building something that I saw in pictures. I don't have any actual clue what it does. But it looks cool, right? Isn't that the important thing? It is the important thing. That's why we're building this in the first place like this. if I really wanted to, I could make a factory room that is just small and it's serviceable. But if it's not huge and cool looking, then why bother? That's what I say. Now, the moral of the story is these creative games are here as a palette. These creative games are here for you to be able to express your creative needs and desires. And so I go big when I can. And I'm learning to go bigger and bigger as I play the game, as I get better and better. Something about these things tell me that they should be made of girders. So let's do that. And how tall is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. 7 tall. And then you go right, what, here? Here. DOUGIMUS. Cool. Oops. Wrong button. And I suppose we could probably do the same with this here. Now these things are what the pictures showed. They're all part of this steel mill process. And I don't know exactly what this thing does. I'm going to have to look into it. That way I can maybe hook it up a little bit better, visually speaking. But I know that it has ramps, and it's basically an area that you can monitor things, you can get across, and there's a bunch of machinery that's going to be on top of this. So this whole thing does something, and I'm just not sure. But again, like I said, this is about representing something just so it's cool and visual looking. I'm not really worried about the realism. My basic default kind of is just to work with grills, like bear grills, I'm like, yo, can you drink this tub of pee? And he's like, sure thing, Jacemachine. I'm like, thanks, bear. You're the best. It's fun listening to Les Stroud, the Survivor Man, talk smack on Bear Grylls. And he's basically bitter because he's like, yeah, I do it all authentically. In fact, Les Stroud, the Survivor Man, still has a show going on, but he does it himself. It's like Patreon supported or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. But if you go to his website, I'm sure you can read all about it. And if you want to read and see some new Survivor Man episodes, that's your source, yo. I like that sort of thing. I've always envisioned myself as someone who could probably survive out in the wilderness. Now, whether or not that's true or not, I don't know. I was a Boy Scout when I was a kid, and by Boy Scout, I mean Cub Scout. And when I was a kid, I mean for 3 months. So, I certainly have the skills I need to survive for ages. Oh, I also read My Side of the Mountain twice, so I'm an expert. I know how to do falconry and how to live inside of a tree and how to make pancakes out of acorns for you and me. Have you guys read that book? That's actually a really, really cool book. My Side of the Mountain. It's about this kid at the turn of the century. I'm not sure when it takes place, but it's about this kid who's like, you know what? This school's bullshit, so I'm peacing out. And he basically runs away from home to go live on his own out in the wilderness. How do I want this? 3? Yeah. So he hollows out this tree, and it's really detailed in describing like the exact methodology he's using to survive, which lends a lot of credibility to the story itself. As a reader, you're like, wow, man, this is accurate. Now, whether it's really accurate or not, I couldn't tell you. In some cases, it might be inaccurate, and so maybe read out of a real survival handbook before going out into the wilds. Before, you know, I'm just saying that maybe reading a kid's story with survival elements might not be the best way to go about it. So, let's see here. This is looking cool. So speaking of camping, I've actually had an offer. I'm thinking about doing it, but a chance to go out onto some of like the sandbar islands that are out here in the Gulf, and camping, which would be pretty awesome. I've always wanted to camp out on the beach, and of course there's like, you know, it's just straight up like there's no bathrooms or anything. So it's true roughing it, but man, what an experience, you know? I think that's something I definitely would like to take the opportunity to do. This guy I know through work has he's a diver, and he was talking about it. Basically, he was basically saying like, hey, we can go do this sometime. So maybe we will. And maybe I won't get stabbed and my body rolled into the ocean, never to be seen again. Oh, I'm such a cheerful fellow sometimes. I'm just too damn cheerful all the time. Oh, god damn it. Alright. We are just putting in some random machinery bits here. That's what I'm doing, in case you're curious. Gotta make my emulsifier look good, you know. Is that what we're calling this? The emulsifier? I don't know this. What are you talking about, Mang? How about a grill? Man, I wish we could have flat grills. Flat grills would be pretty cool. I'm just saying, if you could have grills of different widths, they'd be useful. This is where this is going to come in handy. Yeah, that looks great, yo. Okay, so now what we're going to do is get a pipe. Again, we're trying to do stuff just to be visually stunning and interesting. You know, we want your eye to see this stuff and be like, oh, that's neat. It's like Disney World, right? Where you go to Disney World or one of those higher end theme parks, and they go really in detail for hiding how things are done, and basically the idea is that we want to, wherever your eye happens to look, even if it happens to be underneath something, I want you to be able to see something there. It gives a sense of depth and realism. So that is what I'm driving at. That's what I mean about depth. You know, that's the whole principle with the last room. I wanted you to be able to see the stuff, but because you're putting the platform in the middle of the room and basically walking around the room but looking down, it gives you a sense. Like, I could have just done it where you come in here and you're like, oh, wow, that's cool. And it's fine, you know, depending on what's... But this is a different view. This just gives you a bigger sense of, like, oh, so this is how shit's run. I don't know, that's just my own opinions. My own design opinions. These are called crucibles, by the way. That's what I was thinking of earlier. We're going to put a big crucible in the middle of the room. It's going to be great. The kids are going to love it. Everyone loves crucibles. I don't understand why the crucibles aren't a bigger thing these days. Do we want the crucible towards the back of the room? What are you going to do with this empty space down here, Jace? Oh, I totally know. We're going to probably put some sort of BS machines down there. Okay. I can get behind that. Then we don't need this, which I had accidentally mirror imaged in the first place, and then decided, oh, I could use that. Could you use that? Alright, let's not get too rash. I'd rather not have a rash today, please. We're gonna leave that be for the time being. Ooh, you know what we can do here? We can cut something out and make it look cool as hell. I say. Here's the reason why. If there was an accident, you wouldn't want all of this molten steel just spilling all over the place. You would like to at least capture it and maybe have it run out into here or something like that. So we're gonna do that with this space under these crucibles. Come in here. Oh, it's a beautiful view underneath. Clearly not meant to be seen. Shh, there's only 1 block thick lava in this crucible. Do you realize that? Yes. It's all part of the mystery. And obviously, like when you're building and you intend on being able to build something in survival, which is, I want to fill this blueprint in survival mode, so I don't want to use more blocks than are necessary to accomplish what I want to do. If this was a spaceship, you'd be doing that because you want to keep it light. But just because of the fact that this is a survival station, and it's going to be a bunch of crap that I need to put in here anyway, we're going to first really want to just make sure that it takes less crap. So anywhere that there's blocks above that would hide something below, you want to cut it out. There's something to think about when you guys are building your own things. I know a lot of you are old hat. Old hat? It's old hat. A lot of you guys are old veterans at this game, and so this is like, I'm not telling you anything new. You're like, Jacemachine, shut up. I know that. Alright, are we good? Have we ruined it for the day? I think we have. Let's put a layer of grill in. We got a cut under here too. And then we're going to put a layer of grill in. But Chase, I thought you said don't put stuff unnecessary. Shut up! I do what I want. But yeah, do what you want. End of the day, do what you want. Don't let me tell you how to build something. What the hell? Okay. Whatever. I don't know how that works out, but I don't like it. Okay. Now, let's see here. We're going to make this more pit-like. Dirk Pit. Any of you guys read the Dirk Pit novels by Clive Cussler? Or if you've seen the movie Sahara with Matthew McConaughey? Dirk Pit. Those books are very entertaining. They're kind of stupid, but they're kind of stupid in the most awesome way. I got into them many years ago. I randomly picked up a Clive Cussler novel at a grocery store. And basically, what we ended up doing is I read it, and when I say we, I mean me and also myself. And I was kind of charmed by how silly the character was. Like, he's like this adventure hero. And he just shows up in the nick of time to save random people in the start of every book. Like, every book will start off with some random character that you're going to be, like, following their adventures, sort of, for that book. But they always get into some sort of deep shit right in the start. And then, like, right when things get really bad, like, Dirk Pitt shows up and breaks someone's neck and then saves her. Oh, it's usually a her. I might have forgotten that. He usually saves it. If it's a dude, I mean, he saved dudes before too, but usually there's at least one attractive lady back at base camp that Dirk immediately gets introduced to after being returned there with the person he saved. So, So Dirk ends up getting romantically entangled with a new lady every adventure. And then from there, what happens is he also finds a classic car, like some sort of old car. And at some point, he's driving that old car. And like a number of times, what happens is if he's in a vehicle, he's in some sort of like civilian vehicle, because he's not a spy. He works for an oceanographic agency. He's a water guy, right? He's a diver. Speaking of divers, so Dirk Pitt basically, like one episode, he was in a helicopter, and some plane was trying to kill him, and the plane had like missiles or guns, and the helicopter had nothing. So he crashed the helicopter into the plane, and then survived, but killed that guy, the plane dude. Sometimes he will take a car and smash it into another car, or like a train or a boat, like whatever he has, he's gonna ram it into you if you're a bad guy. So just be aware, like that's like his standard modus operandi. I don't understand why he does it, but again, it makes for very entertaining books. But what's kind of interesting is that the books had been written over a period of 30 years or so, and the character actually aged with those books, which is not something that you generally get. Unfortunately, now the books are kind of not that great anymore. Let me just take that back. I don't read them anymore. Let me just put it that way. Because what happened was Dirk Pitt's long-lost son and daughter that he didn't know about, that was the offspring of the love that he had with someone in the very first adventure he had. They showed up, and then now the books are about them, and like he's the boss now. But yeah, if I really wanted to follow the adventures of the boss, I'd just watch Tony Danza. You know what I mean? Anyway, guys, I am out of time for this rambly episode of StarMade, but doesn't mean I don't love you anyway. I hope you like what I'm doing here. We're going to continue working on this thing, extending this out, putting in detail into these, so the next time I come back, this thing will probably look finished, nearabouts, and I might even know what the hell it is. We're going to put in the big old crucible back here. And what else are we going to do? Anything? We'll see. There's going to be all sorts of details that I'm going to tweak with. But let me fix this here and this here real quick. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're new around here, definitely subscribe if you are interested in watching me play this game. This is a really fun game. If you are new here, you can play this game for free. It's on Steam. Just look up StarMade. There's a demo version of it, and the demo version is the exact same version as this. I have a paid version of the game because I like to support my favorite developers. So there you go. Anyway, that's that. We're going to put bottoms in on these things now, too, especially since you can now go into the crawl space beneath that. And maybe instead of a crucible, we'll put in a some sort of like Star Wars element. Like, what is that? The cryo. What is that? The damn carbonite chamber. The carbonite encasing chamber. That would look cool. That would fit this setting very well. Also, with all this orange, we're gonna need to incorporate a bunch of blue light in here, give it that real Star Wars-y sort of feel. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Let me know what your verdict is in the comments section below. And if you want to hang out with me and some of your cohorts, come join us in our Discord. There is a link in the description box below. We are, I don't know, we're always talking about all sorts of crazy stuff, hanging out with other Star Squadron members, sharing links, and having fun. It's a good place. Good place with good people. So, yeah, there you go. I love you all. I will see you next time.